Okay, so this lesson is about understanding the side of the shaft, which is crucial for understanding the float. So let's talk about that a little bit. We understand about the body and what we're trying to do with that and so forth. But when we swing back, okay, I'm just going to set up like I'm normal here. And if I was working a 10-yard shot here, this, I'm not even going to take my grip. It's going to go back all one unit. So it's not bending. Okay, so this is bending. That's a form of bending. Okay, that's a form of bending. All right, so when I swing back, it's just going neutral. So if you look how straight this is, it's just swinging back. It's swinging on an arc like we're talking about. It's not swinging inside. It's just like on the table. It's swinging back with neutral energy with the whole backside turning. If this club moves that much, this right side's turning the whole time. If it swings back this much, it's turning. The right side never stops turning. It always starts when the club head moves away. Now, it's very important to understand because as I'm taking that back, I'm not bending. I'm not adding any side bend to the wrist. If I did, it would look like this. Okay? So when we're training in the true takeaway, when you're taking that club back and you're going back this way, you want to feel like that club is on this, the middle of the shaft is on the table like this. You're turning back and there is no bending. Okay? But as soon as that club gets past hip high here, we're going to take the right wrist and just start bending it slightly. Okay? If I'm going to go back further, I would bend it a little bit more, but the right side's continuing to turn here. And what that does, it gets the side of the shaft like we talk about, like this. Okay, so you can see that that shaft's on an angle to strike. Okay, we don't want it pointing up like this. You can see the face change here. If that's it, that's no-go. Then all of a sudden, that's where we want the side of the shaft to angle, regardless to whether the plane is up, middle, or here. Okay. So with that being said, we don't want the club going back like this and bending the right wrist. If it did, it would look like we would be bending. Dustin Johnson does some of that, gets away with it, not in short game, but gets away with it in long game, does well. But it's bending, it's not happening at the top of his swing. He's doing it and bending it here, so it affects his short game. Okay? We don't want it to do that. We want to be able to turn back. All this stays normal. There's no face rotation down. There's no rotating the face open either. We're keeping that turning with our body, and this is the same energy until we get around here in this hip high, and then from here we don't cock the club. So cocking the club is this way. Okay, side bending is just the right hand or backhand, and it's just this. And it's just a small amount. If you do it too much, it gets too flimsy. If you don't do it at all, it looks like this in your swing, so it wouldn't have any energy. If we don't have some side bending here as the club swings back, we won't have the energy necessary to bring it back and have kind of this lagging power. This is not lagging. That's not lagging. That's going to get you trapped. This would be it. It just swings back and just barely the right wrist, just like that. So when you swing it, see somebody swing it, it doesn't look like much. It's just back, bends a little bit, and then it reshapes itself back in. And if you bend it the right way, like this, then I guess what? I don't have to, even if I go upright and I bend it the right way, when it comes back down, it's going to be square. If I go inside and I bend it at the right time, all right, I can come back and the face is, the side of the shaft is square, which means the face is going to be square where you don't need to roll the hands, either way, okay? But that small bending is crucial in the float, okay? And you just have to make sure you time it right, and that's why I want to give you all the information about that on this lesson, is that you do not want to be side bending as the club's going back. You want to turn it back normal, and then a little side bend. You make your whole body movement like we talked about in here. We also, watch my whole body here. My whole right side, as soon as this club is moving away, my right side is moving. If you're left-handed, it's opposite. So I'm turning my body, my whole right side. If I turn more, if I swing back further, I turn more. And at the end of that, I bend the right wrist, sink into my body, and then you contain and deliver like we talk about. It's very important to understand, regardless of the plane, if I have the ball here, won't matter where the ball is at anyway. It's the orientation, as you can see here, if that's, we're delivering. So when we get anywhere, if I'm just here, the side of the shaft is angled like this. If you get that only, okay, the plane, the shaft can be in different areas relative to what your arms are going to different areas. But if the side of the shaft's here, it delivers. If the side of the shaft is like this, we have the right wrist bent, it delivers. That would be neutral. This would be kind of a steeper, more upright angle, but you can see it's not over the top. The side of the shaft's here, Here, I could be all the way on my neckline, which you've seen players do, but I've got the side of the shaft here like this, and so it just falls right down on the baseline unless I try to twist it. So it can come in from all these angles, but the way to do that for anybody, I don't care if you're a tour player or beginner, you want to learn how to get the side of the shaft with the small right wrist bend, and all it does is goes this way. Just like that. So when I swing that club back, whatever grip I have, you don't want to grip. Now if you're motorcycle gripping it and you're turning your body, we're changing, now you're changing the dimensions, everything. That's why you want to be square to the camera here and all that with the grip, not way over, not way under and rolling your body, just where we talk about it, where this is running up. And then when you turn back and you start to bend that wrist and sink, that club is now set for delivery. It's set to contain. You've already, when you do that with the right wrist, you've contained it, okay? That created torque. You've created torque. You've contained it now, all right? And as it comes back forward, that would be the delivery. It's going to be straight. It'll be square just like this. It'll have all the energy out of it, okay? And there's never a need to flip it. There's never a need to punch and stiffen up like this, you know? It just comes through and you can just relax, and that will just drive that ball like crazy, whether you're hitting a 5-yard shot or whether you're hitting a 300-yard drive. It's the same form. But the principle of the club, it's designed to be swung as it swings back, whatever arc it is. The side of the shaft, which is your right wrist, it bends to the optimal amount, so it loads the middle and the side of the shaft, and it creates the club from having to, roll. It keeps it from having to try to roll in through here. Now, there's still great players, as we talk about, that might have it underneath here like this, and they're having to roll their arms and time all that up. Amateurs will not figure out how to do that. They will over-roll, they won't do it enough, and they'll hit it army golf. So if we can just get this side of the shaft correctly here, if it goes back further, you wait and do it later. If you're going to make a longer swing, just start bending it as you get a little later. And that'll allow you to get to when you swing down, it's automatic. The only thing you have to control really at that point, it would be, or train, I should say, you don't control it, you don't control anything, but in your training, you would be training to make sure that you're creating the same space you had at address. I'm not talking about the lie angle of the shaft, forget all that. Just you feel like you're putting it back on the table through the ball here, and then you have the mount up and down. So we have the sound of that coming up and down. So if you have the side of the shaft correct, you can have a lot of different planes, and all you have to do is control. If we have our body moving correctly, we don't want to twist and we don't want to tilt back, just have it coming forward, okay, like this, and we're good. Even if you're twisting, if you have the side of the shaft right and you're twisting, it'll still work. You can see like I'm twisting here, and that'll still work. It's not good for my spine, but it will work. I could even be, if I have the side of the shaft correct, like this, I could even kind of hang back and flip, not really even move. So if I'm here, and it's just going to hit the same way every time, okay? Unless I'm trying to punch or roll it or do something crazy, which you'll learn there was no need to, because it's just set and ready to deliver, all one shot. So really study the side of the shaft, because that's what the most important thing in golf is. The side of the shaft and the sole. Your club is the most important thing. Then your body is kind of like icing on the cake. If you can understand how this club is designed and how we want to make it deliver the same way every single time, before you forget the body, then we look at body and getting it structured in a line, so we just have icing on the cake, okay? But this right here trumps everything. This is raw timing, your shaft. So the side of the shaft, getting it angled with the right wrist covers that, and then the sole of the club, and that is covered through training in the bunkers and drawing the lines and being patient and improving your 5-yard scale and your 10-yard scale, which I talk about all the time. You improve those two scales with a sand wedge all the way up to 50 yards or up to 100 yards, and you're going to be in great shape, okay?